Hi, this is Lindsay. I'm the Learning Content Manager for Because Learning. I am here to give you a brief overview of our 5th grade Physical Science and Math unit. Let's take a look. The Because Learning 5th grade Physical Science and Math unit comes tied to the NGS standards. This unit includes physical science, engineering technology and the application of science, earth and space science, as well as some Common Core mathematics. NGS standards can be found at the end of each lesson by clicking on the experiment guide. The experiment guide contains information such as appropriate grade level, recommended group size, recommended time, and the content area. At the bottom of the experiment guide are the specific NGS standards for that lesson. In addition to the experiment guide link at the end of each lesson, there are also links to troubleshooting tips and a help center in case you get stuck or encounter a problem. We also have a link to our community discussion where you can leave tips and tricks and things that worked for your class, as well as new ideas or ways to make the experiment better. In the experiment titled Ice Cream Science, the students will use the temperature sensor to collect data, and then they will interpret that data to see what happens when you add salt to ice. Have you ever wondered how to make your own ferrofluid? In this experiment, that's precisely what students do. They will use toner as well as oil and some iron filings to create a ferrofluid and then experiment with the magnetometer and magnets to see what happens. Have you ever wondered what makes a chemical reaction endothermic or exothermic? In this experiment, students will mix baking soda and vinegar as well as yeast and hydrogen peroxide. They will collect data from the temperature sensor and use that data to interpret whether their chemical reaction was endothermic or exothermic. The experiment titled Color Mixing with RGB LED has the students wiring up a red, green, blue LED and experimenting with different ratios of red, green, and blue to see what colors they produce. Ash snakes is different from any other experiment in the unit because it works best as a classroom demonstration. In this experiment, students will observe chemical change and physical change when heat is applied to a mixture of baking soda and sugar. Crash Test has the students designing a cushion that will dampen the impact of an object when dropped from 3 feet high. The students will collect G-force data from the accelerometer sensor and use it to tell them whether or not their cushion was effective. Satellite data analysis with CODAP is an experiment that uses pre-collected data that has been taken from our sensor board in space and has the students analyzing the data to draw conclusions. There is a worksheet that is included with this experiment to help guide the students through the data analysis. The Great American Eclipse has the students using data taken during the 2017 eclipse and an application called CODAP to interpret the data. There is a worksheet included to help the students organize their thoughts and draw conclusions from the data. That gives you a brief introduction to our 5th grade Physical Science and Math unit. We recommend that before you teach any lesson with your class, that you go through the lesson as if you were a student. You build the circuit, you collect the data, you answer the questions. That way you'll be able to anticipate where your students will need extra assistance when they try the activity. We hope you have fun experimenting.